Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a review of the all-new Razer Viper V3 Hyperspeed, and this is just a weird, like, interesting mouse. I don't really know what to think of it. It is a different shape from the original Razer Viper. So if you remember it as like a low profile, kind of similar to an FK from Zowie style shape, it's really not going to feel that way anymore. It does feel almost like an ambi Death Adder. I'll get into the specific shape comparisons later, and I'll show the iconic top-down angle from the last video. But yeah, this is an updated take on the Razer Viper, but it also features things like a battery, which I know is probably going to be a shock to some people. And as you guys see, I have a AAA lithium battery. I got this secret upgraded battery tech because out of the box with the stock AA battery they provide, the mouse is like 82 grams. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty bulky, but you can get it down to 70 with a super simple battery mod, which really doesn't make it that bad, especially for a larger mouse. Comparatively, something like the Death Adder V3 is 64 grams, the new GPX V2 is like 58, 59 grams. I should say it's a large mouse, it's by no means huge, but the way it flares out towards the bottom, it definitely feels wide if you do something like claw grip, and for fingertip, it's just not the type of mouse I would recommend. Something, I mean, Viper Mini Signature is very far off on the price, but really just anything that is smaller and more narrow is something I would recommend for fingertip. I would say compared to the original Viper V2 Pro, it is a lot better for like relaxed claw and palm, just like basic slapping your hand on the mouse style grips. It accommodates those a bit more. There's obviously a ton of room on the sides, good freedom for finger placement, but like I said, it flares out and it just feels a bit bigger than the mouse is, especially when you're using it for something like claw grip. At least I've noticed that, but there's just a lot of interesting random features about this mouse. It has a very high sensor position. I guess that's not random because they have the battery compartment taking up a lot of the base, but yeah, the sensor position is high, and this definitely threw me off a bit at first, especially before I got a battery mod, because having a heavier mouse, I thought, okay, I'll just raise my sense to accommodate for it, but having a higher sensor position also makes your sense just feel faster. I don't care about what the sensor position schizos have to say. That is just, it's just facts. But I think this is the first 4K compatible mouse that has such a high sensor, and obviously I'm not saying like buy the mouse for that reason, but if you're somebody who likes high sensor positions, we've really never seen anything this extreme from a large company besides, I think, Cooler Master, maybe. Obviously we've seen some super low sensor positions, but I think that is a bit more objectively bad. But yeah, if you do get this mouse and you feel like the sensor's weird, it's obviously not the Razer 3950 implementation, it's just how high the actual sensor itself is. But I do like when the sensor lines up with my thumb a bit more. In this case, it's actually above my thumb, but yeah, such is life. But yeah, when it comes to like a concrete problem, I really didn't have any with this mouse. It's just it's an out there product. It is a $70 mouse, so it's not trying to like outdo their Pro Series mice. It is the Hyperspeed series. We gotta stay up to date with the fucking nomenclature. But yeah, it feels really well built. I would say it honestly feels like better built than my Death Adder V3, which is interesting because it's like it has the same sensor. The build feels better. It's like, what is justifying like double the price for their Pro Series mice? And you could say the weight difference, but it's like a fucking 5-ish gram weight difference. And seriously, the Viper V3, it can feel similar, if not larger in the hand than the Death Adder V3 Pro. So it's just, that's some food for thought right there. It does have the updated coating found on the Death Adder V3 Wired and Faker Edition, which is really nice. I asked Razer and I didn't get like a firm answer about if their standard models will receive a coating update. But yeah, if you like go for it, like you can see there is some grease when I'm like wiping my finger, but ultimately it's a solid performing coating. You might have to wipe it off with a microfiber cloth every few days, but honestly, it maintains itself. It's like a nice house plant. But yeah, no matter how you look at it, the coating is really good. It's the same one they already have that I vouched, so not much more needs to be said. But here's the iconic top-down angle that you guys liked from last video. The only comment was to like flip the mice so they're actually like looking at the camera, and that I feel like that's a good idea. But yeah, here you get an idea of the shape comparisons. Yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so I can continue to have the budget to do high production value things like the top-down camera angle. But yeah, moving on from all of this stuff, I'm going to talk about the clicks on this mouse. And this is another thing, like I've been saying, theme of this mouse, just kind of weird. It says it's using the Gen 2 opticals, and I was like, am I Mandela affecting right now? Haven't they been on Gen 3 opticals for like a year? So I went and I actually checked the Razer Cobra Pro. Does anybody remember this mouse? Like, I wonder how this thing's doing. But yeah, I checked the box, and you see up top, it is using the Gen 3 opticals. Wait, where does it say? Okay, it says it on the back. Gen 3. So I don't know why this would randomly be using older opticals. I don't know if that's just like a box mistake. They do feel slightly different, but there's so many things just like the shell design that can affect click feeling. But yeah, these are going to feel not really mushy. There is it's kind of mushy, and I feel like it could become mushier. It's not like the sharpest, most tactile. It's nowhere near the new Logitech or Endgame Gear optical switches. And yeah, it is a pretty, very light, but you can just see there is a lot of pre-travel. I don't know why my camera's not fucking focusing. There is a decent bit of side-to-side wobble. I would say the click quality, at least on my unit, is not the highest quality, but it's very functional, and I don't know if it will actually get worse if I just continue to spam left and right click. But if you're expecting like a fine wine premium click implementation, it's not going to be this. But yeah, I am very curious if these are using an older version of the opticals, like why that is. Maybe they just had them lying around and figured we can't put them in our premium line of mice, why not this? But yeah, I would say ultimately the clicks get a pass, especially if you aren't clicking at the absolute top. The pre-travel won't be as bad, so it's just a solid click implementation. There's obviously no worries about latency, the like lightness of the clicks. It's fucking fine. The side buttons, I would say, are exceptional though. They're like extremely good. They mentioned that they improved them from the Viper V2, which I thought honestly had the side button design down, but you can see they put a bit more space in between the buttons. The buttons themselves are large. It's just very convenient positioning for what I would imagine is a lot of grip styles, and just some of the best tension side buttons I've ever come across. There's seriously like absolutely no like pre-travel play. There is a little bit of like post-travel on mouse 4, but it does not fucking matter. I did not even notice that until just now. My dog really wants to make a guest appearance at an inopportune time, but he just does not care. Rex, like, put your head down, say hi to the camera. You're gonna fucking interrupt the video. But yeah, I'm not joking. This actually happens like once a video. I don't just throw him on my desk. He just like scratches at me until I let him up here. For all of the people who are asking. But for people who don't care about my dog and just want to hear about the mouse review, I'm kind of running out of features to talk about. The battery mod, I would say, is borderline necessary. You're going to need a AAA to AA battery converter, and obviously the AAA Ultimate Lithium batteries. That will run you a bit of money, but it makes the mouse so much more usable. Like, if this was an 80-gram mouse, no mods compatible, this video would be nowhere near as positive, but you're able to shave off so much of the weight and keep the weight balancing feeling good. It really makes me not hate the battery situation. I know that some people are like, I'm not buying it as a battery. Obviously, the battery life is rated very well. If you do mod the battery, it's going to be a bit worse, but I feel like this is a lot of mumbo-jumbo stuff that people might not care about. But yeah, I would say the mouse skates themselves are very good, updated, thicker. Like, I don't remember any Razer mouse has had skates this good, so I'm not sure if that was just a silent update. Somebody in the comments might be able to let me know, but the performance of these was very solid. Obviously, the mouse being a bit heavier, you might not notice that as much. Scroll wheel, really no updates that are worthy of note. Very similar. I don't know if it's changed at all compared to previous models. And yeah, I think that about covers all of the features on this mouse. There's obviously not going to be a charging port since it has a battery, and there is a DPI button. But overall, this mouse is in a weird place. At $70, do I think it is by any stretch of the imagination a bad deal? No. But would I pick it over like any of these other mice, Viper Mini Sig, Viper V2 Pro, just like all of these elite mice? Definitely not, because it's not like in that category as a mouse. But yeah, it obviously is going to be a more accessible price point for a lot of people. I'm not going to say it's a budget mouse, but it's definitely more affordable. There's no denying that. And who knows, like Black Friday, Prime Day, all of these sales, like what price this mouse could find itself at. There's really no way to harp on the value of the mouse. Yeah, you might have to pay a little bit if you want the hyper pulling dongle, presuming you don't have one, and a lighter battery, which I would say borderline necessary if you care about having a lightweight gaming mouse. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it might be a bit trendy to hate on this mouse. I don't know what the reception of it is gonna be, but it's not a fucking bad product. Even though I don't like it over some of these other mice on my desk, I can absolutely still use it. I'm not a huge fan of the shape changes compared to the original Viper V2 Pro. I feel like it's no longer a Viper in the same way I guess some some people felt that when they swapped the Death Adder shape, it was no longer a Death Adder. But yeah, to keep it a buck, I prefer the Death Adder V3 Pro, just the shape a lot more for claw grip, over the Viper V3 Hyperspeed, but it's like I can fucking live with it. I'm sure some people are going to love the mouse, some people are going to hate the mouse. That's just how the cycle of gaming mice works. But yeah, I'm not going to give this the seal of approval. It's not like a #1 recommendation, but especially if you want a more affordable mouse and you've been like kind of sucked up into the Chinese mouse game, I think it's just a bit better. I don't know if I've iterated that already, but yeah, it's going to be built better. The tech's going to be better all around. This is a more complete product than a lot of the budget AliExpress and Mech Keys mice coming out. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, this review of the Viper V3 Hyperspeed, be sure to let me know. If there's any other questions you have in the comments, make sure to let me know, but I will be doing some more videos and comparisons with this mouse compared to some other stuff on the market, so that's not going to be all. But yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Peace.